What's up? How y'all doing? Welcome to a new video. I hope you're all doing really well. This time I'm here to introduce you to the QWOD KingKong ES5. Many thanks to our friends at Phones de Guatemala for sending it to me. And thanks to you, as always, for stopping by this channel. It's free. Here's the price for you. It might be a little cheaper in your country, or it might be a little more expensive. Who is this phone for? Well, it's simple. For those who are looking for a rugged, powerful phone that's not afraid of water or dust. One that has military-grade resistance. And on top of that, a 7,000 milliamp hour battery. And a pretty decent processor. I've already been testing it out with games. I'm going to do a little mini gaming test, so y'all can see for yourselves. Okay, Brazio offers me excellent service. And that's it. Let's see what came inside the box. Because you've already seen a bit of its design. Here, what we find are the user manuals. Something I should point out is that Elite, look, it comes with its USB Type-C cable and the corresponding charger, which is up to 33 watts. At least you won't have to worry about the battery, folks, when charging it. It comes in these 3 colors. I got the one in the middle. I would have liked this one, but oh well. This is what it offers us. I really like how it has its circle here when it comes to the cameras. We also have the back part here. You heard that, right? There's also a high impact zone on all its sides. If you drop it like this, it's definitely going to withstand it. If you drop it like this, maybe not, because the screen, for example, won't have excellent resistance. But if you drop it like this, like this, like this, it's going to hold up really well. And I can assure you of that. And over here, we also have this button. Look, this button is used to turn on the flashlight. That means we have this powerful flashlight. Look, here, I'll show you a video in the background so you can see how powerful it is. We also have a metal construction here. Here as well, it's now. We also have this hybrid tray. We can put in 2 SIM cards and also a micro SD at the same time. In other words, 1 in 1. Make sure to close this really well. Then we also have its USB Type-C port. Although we don't have a headphone jack, there's no FM radio, and we only have a single speaker. And it also has an excellent weight, 301 grams, which is about 10.62 ounces. The thickness is 11.4 millimeters. Comparing a conventional 6,000 milliamp hour device to this 7,000 milliamp hour one, it's impressively slim. And that's fair, folks. We also have the screen. I like the screen. Here we have IPS LCD technology with a 120 Hz refresh rate. We also have a fingerprint sensor built into the power button, and it unlocks quickly. There's also facial recognition unlocking. Look, I'm not touching the spot where the fingerprint sensor is located with my finger. And there you go, it's unlocked. I really like it. The brightness is pretty good, folks. Look, it's perfectly fine. We also have the option right here, if we dive into the settings menu, to manually set the screen to run at a smooth 60, 90, or even 120 Hz refresh rate, which is absolutely great for high-end gaming. Additionally, we have an excellent, vibrant panel here, so you can enjoy watching your favorite videos, at least in full high-definition 1080p resolution. Yes, folks, on YouTube. And taking advantage of this, let's do a test. A sound test so you can see how that single speaker works. All right, we're back with the speaker test, just one speaker. Also, if we go right into the settings menu and look under About the Phone, we have a pretty nice resolution here, 720p by 1640. And here we also have the storage details. This specific model is 128 gigabytes with 6 gigabytes of RAM, although we can actually expand it a bit more, folks. Right here, we can add 6 more gigabytes, it says. Okay, we also have, pay close attention, something I really like, for example, is the unique way you can take photos and videos underwater. It completely locks the touchscreen, and you only use the physical volume up or down buttons to perform an action, like taking a high-quality photo or recording a video. If we want to exit that mode, we press this little button. That's it. What else does the toolbox offer us? Among them, the compass, in case we climb the volcano. Also a bubble level, sound test, the small flashlight at the bottom, a protractor for the legendary builders, you know. There it is. What else does the voice recorder offer us? Also, if we go into settings, let's go to About Phone. We have something very important, which are the connections. We have NFC to conveniently handle all of our digital payments through Google or another app, and we can cast to a smart TV, that is, wirelessly mirror everything on this screen. We also have Chromebook QuickShare and Android Auto if you're going to use it for Uber, because honestly, you will be able to use it perfectly since it has built-in GPS and it works very well. Also, here in the system settings, we have various gestures and the navigation mode, which you can set up either with the traditional 3 buttons or simply with modern gestures. We hold down over here. Here we have the artificial intelligence feature, so you can talk to it and ask for anything. We also have one-handed mode. Hold down the button. Capture with 3 fingers. Press the power button. We can set it to use the double press option. Look, you can even open the camera. And that's it. We have Android 16, folks, and a good security patch from April 5th, 2026, even though it's already July. We have support for dual users. Another thing is, let's see if it also has a proximity sensor. Let's check right now. And yes, it does have a proximity sensor. While we're at it, let's also see if it has split screen. With whatever it does have, for example, support. Let's open YouTube for example. And then we tap here and split screen. And that's it. There we have split screen already. Heads up, it's very functional. Next up, let's check out how it actually handles games, folks. Now, let's head back over to the About Phone section. Here we have Android 16, like I mentioned earlier. And this processor is a Unisoc T620. Heads up. And I've been able to play Free Fire, PUBG Mobile, Blue Strike Asphalt, and FIFA Mobile really well. Don't try to test Call of Duty because I played Free Fire and it went pretty well for me. Here, let me show you. Let's see, where there's space. Right there, where there's space, I'll put a gaming test for you. It worked pretty well for me with the graphics settings like that. Look, here at least I've been able to get some good scrolling, although I do feel like it could use a bit more power up front. Yeah, I feel that. And I have to tell you, with Free Fire, you should probably lower the graphics a bit, okay? I should have, because I kept it way too high, guys. Way too high. And I think that part didn't really convince me. Should it be improved? Honestly, no, because you can't expect that much from the processor. So that's where I found a bit of a weak spot. I'd say at the very least you should lower the graphics a bit, and then you can play just fine, guys. Because that's exactly how I tested it out later on, and it worked perfectly fine for me. But what I actually did was turn it on right here and set it all the way to high. So I didn't really like it that way, and I even turned this on, the FPS counter. I honestly think if you lower the graphics settings just a little bit, it could work really well for you. Another game where I also mentioned it didn't go so well for me, and I really have to tell you this, is PUBG Mobile. In PUBG Mobile, thanks, you should definitely also lower the graphics a bit. Yeah, guys, it's not quite up to playing with ultra-high graphics, even though it does give us the option to play with high graphics settings. Make sure to close all the apps, please. And here we have this, which I was about to show you. This is all it has to let you turn on HDR, maximum performance mode, and 5G or 4G acceleration. And that's it. And what I did, and the mistake I made when I did the gaming test, was that I set it up with graphics that were way too high. That's why the scrolling was pretty bad, guys. I'd even say really bad. But when I finally sat down and played Blue Strike, it turned out to be a major exception to the rule. I was actually able to play Blue Strike really well with surprising smoothness, mostly because I made sure to play it with the lowest possible graphics settings to keep the frame rate high. You can see it right here, exactly here on the left side where I'm playing, and yeah, it worked for me there, and I thought, oh my gosh, why didn't I do it like this before? Yeah, guys, so with the graphic settings turned way down, I realized that the QT Income SE was actually able to play Blue Strike really well, and I could honestly tell it performed perfectly. And look, that's exactly how I played it. Now, to exit out of this game, we just go to the settings menu, and here you can clearly see the low graphic quality I used. That's the main reason why it ran so smoothly for me. Another game that worked absolutely wonderfully for me during my testing was Asphalt. Asphalt was an absolute champ for me. You can see it here on the left side. I have absolutely no complaints at all. It was spectacular for me. I think that doesn't mean I should give you more gaming tests, because that's just how it seemed to me. And then I played FIFA Mobile, another game that isn't very demanding, guys. No problem at all. You can also play eFootball if you really want to, and the performance is going to be absolutely exceptional. No complaints at all with those specific games. I'd say that if you try to install Call of Duty, maybe it'll work for you or maybe it won't. But this was my actual real-world experience. As for the battery performance, I remember it did pretty well because I played for almost an hour or so, and I had 94% battery when I first started, and then I left it at 80% battery, with the device heating up to 40 degrees Celsius. And here in my country, the ambient temperature is 23 degrees Celsius, so that's exactly what I noticed. Now, if we talk about its cameras, the rear one is listed as 64 megapixels for the main sensor, which is this one right here. We also have a second 2 megapixel sensor for macro shots. And the third sensor is simply there to support portrait mode photos, and this is the LED flash. Incredible, right? That it has 3 cameras. Meanwhile, the selfie camera is 16 megapixels. We can even see it right here. Thanks to this interface, we can tell that these are its cameras. And as for the camera interface, we have macro mode, look at 4 centimeters, night view, and 64 megapixels. Automatic video recording, and it can record in 1080p full HD, both with the rear and front cameras, vertical mode, portrait mode, and under more, we have pro mode, panorama, time-lapse, slow motion, audio image, and QR code. What do you think if we do a test next? But come on, this phone isn't really made for that. Here's the test. With its 64 megapixel rear camera, it delivers excellent color, and it also does portrait mode really well with good resolution. What it's missing is the cutout mode. You can tell it doesn't quite do its job there. You can even see it in the hair and on the shoulder. But the resolution is spot on, with great colors. And if you take a landscape photo, it'll do a great job. Look, the color range is pretty accurate. Meanwhile, over here, we have really good autofocus, keeping the colors looking very natural. Macro mode photos aren't its strong suit. Just look at this one. We also have a 16 megapixel selfie camera. With a regular photo, I feel like the AI boosts things a bit to remove some details, especially when it comes to wrinkles. Even so, when we take photos in portrait mode, you can tell there's good work being done. You can see there's better resolution, but when we take regular photos like this one, look, it's definitely been tuned. And when we use portrait mode, you can really tell the quality is pretty good. That's a good thing. Here we can see the results, and here I'd give it a perfect score. As for video recording, let's be honest, this isn't really a phone for that kind of thing, but it gets the job done. Look, we're recording at 1080p at 30 frames per second. That's something I do have to appreciate. At the very least, we can send a file, for example, for some work we're doing, a live event, or something we want to send to a family member or to work. It definitely gets you out of a lot of tight spots. The rear camera also has autofocus that's not the best, but it still holds its own pretty well. Remember, this isn't a phone for taking photos and videos, but just look at the result. At 1080p and 30 frames per second, it holds up pretty well. However, there's a lot of abrupt movement when we're turning the phone. That's just something we can't get rid of. Even so, it has done the job really well. All right, we're back. My rating would be this. It's recommended for anyone who wants a lot of autonomy. It has NFC, GPS, military-grade durability, the screen is good, the design is nice, and it's not too thick. Now it has a good weight. The cameras performed average, and the gaming test was also just okay for me. You can run games that aren't too demanding. We have a powerful flashlight right here. We can even use it to charge another device. The price is pretty good too. Yes, I can confidently guarantee that you're gonna like it. And please, if you're gonna throw it away, do it like this. Don't use it as a hammer on the screen because for obvious reasons, it might break. And that's it. That's all, folks. Thank you so much for being on this channel. Don't forget to subscribe. I made it a point to test it out in pretty much everything, and I liked it. See you in the next video. This is the price. It's reasonable. The design is really nice. At least now it fits perfectly in your pocket or pants. Yeah, phones used to be quite bulky and heavy before, but now they're a much more comfortable weight. Let's go!